Well, most of the clouds have disappeared after dealing with rain and cold temperatures the last couple of days. It's not exactly balmy out, but much better than it was last night. Bud Black, third season as the Padres manager, and he has seen his club come together the last couple of months. In fact, they're 32 and 21 over his last 53 ball games. Everett Cabrera will lead things off. David Eckstein will bat the 2-hole. Then Adrian Gonzalez, Chase Headley, Will Venable, who drove in 4 last night. Oscar Salazar, Nick Hundley, Tony Gwynn, and Clayton Richard. Let's take a look at the Fidelity scouting report on Jason Hamill.
Well, we know all about his stuff. It's pretty good. A 90, 95 mile an hour heater. He does throw the sinker in there at times. Slider, it has a quick break to the outside. It's going to have some good depth to it. 80 to 86. The out pitches become the curveball. 12-6 right over the top. 78 to 82. The changeup 78 to 84. It is a circle. And by the way, Hamill has done a nice job handling the RBI guys on the ball club. The 4 holes only hit $194 off of him. The bottom of the lineup, another story. They've hit 327 in the 6, 7, and 8 hole.
So here we go. Jason Hamill against Everett Cabrera, and a fastball in the outside corner to Chris Iannetta doing the catching tonight. 0-1 count on Cabrera. And quickly it's 0-2. That's the other thing that Hamill has done. He has been a consistent strike thrower. Has never won a ball game against the Padres. In fact, he's never lost a ball game. He does not have a good ERA against San Diego, but he's never had a decision against him. It's 1-2 on Cabrera, who's 1 for 10 so far in the series. And against Hamill, he's 0 for 3 in a walk. Here's the 1-2, good curveball, a disappearing curveball, and Hamill has struck out Cabrera. 1 gone. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively against a left-hander. They've made a couple of changes. Seth Smith in left, Dexter Fowler in center, Ryan Spilborghs for Brad Hopp in right, Atkins for Stewart at third, Tulowitzki, Barmas in health, and Chris Iannetta making just his 4th start behind the plate in the month of September. David Eckstein will step up, and the fastball is down low. Here's that outstanding curveball.
Well, a good placement, too, because it's on the inner half of the plate with a lot of dewdrop to it. Right on the back foot, straight over the top. Good deception with the arm speed by Mr. Hamill.
Garrett Atkins says, thank you very much. I didn't have to move. And the ball was hit basically where my glove was situated. 2 outs. Let's take a look at the Bird Automotive keys to victory tonight for Colorado.
Well, left-handed, and what I'm talking about is left-handed starters. 24-24 on the season the Rockies are, and they're going to have to handle those, obviously, if they get to the playoffs and take on the Phillies with all of that going on. And lead early with Seth Smith leading off the ball game. I think that's going to play an early part of this with Dexter Fowler hitting into 2-hole and hitting over 300 versus left-handers. And, of course, Mr. Hamill off to a good start, a ground ball and a strikeout for the first couple of outs. And you won't see Gonzalez look that silly on a breaking ball very often.
That's called them all geared up to hit the fastball. That's not a fastball. 0-1. Adrian with 39 home runs. There's been a couple of Padres all time to hit more than 40. And it's right on the ground to Tulowitzki with the shift. A 1-2-3 start for Hamill. And it took him 7 pitches. You got to like that. The rest of the way, the Rockies would love to have this one tonight with the Cardinals showing up tomorrow, and they'll be throwing Carpenter, Wainwright, Pinheiro in the 3-game series. Seth Smith, Dexter Fowler, Todd Helton the first three, then Tulowitzki, Spilborghs, Atkins. Garrett getting the start at third, Barmes, Iannetta, and Hamill. First pitch of the ballgame from Clayton Richard is in there for a strike. Second look for the Rockies at the former White Sox pitcher, and this is slowly hit to short. Cabrera on the move. Low throw, careless throw, and the Rockies say thank you very much. Gonzalez could not pick it up. That is a careless error by Everett Cabrera, his second error of the series, third in the last 4 ball games for Everett.
Well, he threw one up into the seats the other day. Get underneath the baseball, stay behind it, and threw it. That is his 19th error on the season. Best thing you can try to do is hope you get to play the hop and play it right. Man, on a Hyundai Cam, not a way you like to start a ball game. If you're the starting pitcher, you've made the pitch you want to get a tough out. It's Seth Smith, who's hitting .273 against left-handers, and now you put him on base.
And at the plate, Dexter Fowler. And was that a foul tip, George? Yeah, it was a foul tip.
Yep.
0-1. Dexter's the only guy in the Rockies lineup, George, hitting over 300 against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, it's amazing to me, too. I mean, he's hit .331, a couple of home runs, 10 of his 33 RBIs against left-handers. Everybody else up and down the lineup around the .250 mark against them, with the exception of Chris Iannetta at .293.
And a push bunt, and Gonzalez is going to grab that. That's the second time in as many ball games that Dexter has tried to bunt for a hit and bunted it up in the air.
Jim Tracy's moved past that. Now already giving the signs down to Rich Dower what to do here, trying to push it, trying to expose maybe second base and have a foot race with Mr. Eckstein, and ends up getting under the baseball. Richard, by the way, is 8-5 overall in the season, 4-2 with the Padres. Out on the road, 4-3, but an earned run average above 5.
Todd at .317, 4th best average in the National League.
Pretty
Dexter
good
Fowler and Don Baylor getting together. Base hit for Helton. Smith will stop at second. Little counseling, George?
Absolutely, talking an awful lot about it. I mean, just making sure it's there. Let's look at the Fidelity scouting report on this young left-hander coming over from the White Sox. Drew mentioned it, and Jake Peavy trade. Fastball 88-94. He showed that a good curve slider, kind of a slurve mix. 82-86, change. It's a circle. 79-83. That's a work in progress. He had a good one the other day in San Diego. 4-2 with the Padres. 476 earned run average.
Tulowitzki brings a 7-game hitting streak to the ballpark tonight, hitting .407 during that stretch. 1 for 5, an RBI hit last night, though he hit the ball very hard 3 other times. And this ball's hit high and deep right field. And say goodbye. 3-run jack out of the gate for Troy Tulowitzki, his 30th of the year. You could not have scripted a better start in this ball game for the Rockies. Hamill a 7-pitch first, and the cleanup man goes deep with 2 aboard.
Look at those numbers since he moved to that cleanup spot. These guys loading the bases for him and allowed him to do just this. So all the extension on the backside, upright swing, fastball up in the zone, above 90. And this shows you the raw power of Troy Tulowitzki to any part of this ballpark.
Still getting settled in. Tulowitzki's already left the building.
Yeah, look on the Hyundai Cam again where this pitch is. Out over the plate, allowing that full extension, about belt high. Very healthy swing, obviously, from Tulowitzki.
Well, sometimes they're tone setters, George, and the tone setter in this inning, Everett Cabrera, who's a good-looking young player, but a little bit careless on that throw, and now you put your pitcher out of the stretch.
Well, you know, and you say that, as good pitchers will tell you, they've got to pick up the defense, but it can't help it when you get in a club like this. It just kind of snowballs away from him. Helton got a fastball up. He drove it to right field. Tulowitzki got one up, and he sent it out in the seats.
Well, that's one of those thresholds, George. You know, 20 home runs is a threshold for a hitter. 30 home runs. That's a lot of home runs in this day and age.
Well, not that a lot of guys hit 20, but not many hit 30. And you start to get into that grouping of 30 home runs and, of course, the magical 40. But you get into that 30 home run group, you put yourself at that elite long ball status of player.
Especially when you consider his fielding percentage, a chance to be the first shortstop ever with 30 more home runs and a fielding percentage of .990 or better. Defensively, Salazar, Gwynn, and Venable. Headley, who started his career at third base, moved to the outfield back at third with the injury to Kuzminov. Cabrera, Eckstein, Gonzalez, and Nick Hundley doing the catching. 1-0 on Garrett Atkins. Garrett had the big hit against Clayton Richard in San Diego. Richard pitched very effectively. He gave up 3 runs on just 3 hits in 5 innings. He walked a couple of hitters second time through the order, and Atkins made him pay with a double, a 2-run double.
84 pitches over those 5 innings with 8 strikeouts. Next ball game came against Pittsburgh. He did get a decision in that start. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. It wasn't earned, but he struck out 5. 8 was the high for him this year.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Richard, one of 4 pitchers that Kevin Towers acquired from the White Sox and their general manager Kenny Williams when the Jake Peavy deal was all said and done. And if you're a left-handed starter, that's not a bad guy to have as your skipper. Bud Black, he was a pretty fair left-handed starter himself. Inside, 3-2 on Atkins. $60 degrees our game time temperature. 48 degrees the last 2 days. This ball then fouled off. Pop up toward Eckstein in short right field. He's got it, and that's all for the Rockies in the first. But they made their first at bat count. Troy Tulowitzki, a 3-run jack to right, his 30th of the year. Hope it works. Rockies off to a quick start. They are 29-5 when they score first at Coors Field. Chase Headley from the Colorado Springs area has taken strike 1. And a broken bat roller to Barnes on the move. 1 out. Time for our Mike Shaw auto update with Mark Stout. Mark, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. Drew, George, a couple of stories about Jason Hamill. I asked him what he knew about the Rockies even last year when he was in Tampa Bay playing for the Rays, and he said, you know what, not much. I was here once before in my career. The only thing I knew was that guy at first base was named Todd Helton. Everybody knew about Todd Helton. You know, Jason Hamill's kind of got a cool demeanor on the mound, but it wasn't always that way, and it goes back to his Little League days. He told me a story. He was in an all-star tournament, 10 to 12-year-olds, and he said he was the stud on the team. The pitcher hit fourth, was going into third base, was called out by the ump, got up, threw his helmet on the ground, broke it, and he told me that his late father went right down to him and said, "You are out of the game." They did kick him out of the game. He got ejected. He had to go in front of the Little League board. This was in Eastern Washington, where he grew up and played Little League baseball. Never forgot it. His father taught him the lesson to be cool and calm, and that's kind of what he takes to the hill now. Guys?
That comes with one word: maturity. Some guys get it earlier than other guys.
Some guys never get it.
Why are you looking at me?
I didn't. Why are you calling yourself out?
Exactly. You know who's a great example of that in all seriousness? And he'll be the first to tell you. Clint Barmas. Clint would, you know, get real fired up, a bat at bat. You know, he'd wear it for a while. His demeanor has evolved, his maturity level. I mean, for any young player now, he's been at this for a while and he's had success.
Well, the biggest difference is all of a sudden in college you're playing 45, 50 games, you get 200 at bats, and you get thrown into professional baseball and you play 144 game schedule or 150 game schedule, and you may end up getting 500 at bats. I mean, it's almost double the workload, so you're going to have a lot more failure opportunities. It's a matter of how those guys come out of those failure opportunities and how they capitalize on it.
2-0 the count on Oscar Salazar. Shot in the gap in the left center field. And Salazar is going to pick it up and try for 3, and the throw is offline. So with 2 outs, Salazar triples, the first base runner of the ball game for San Diego. He's impressed me, George. He's a
pretty good hitter.
He's not bad. He
really
is.
You see that first fly out move of his. Watch that left leg. See how it flies way out? Everything's trying to be pulled happy on the inner half of the plate. And that's where the pitch was. It was up, center cut, and allowed him to square it up, and he got it into left center. When you see a guy pull off that much on a baseball, it automatically should tell a catcher or a pitcher, let's work him away. Just keep the ball off of him.
You know who that reminded me of, George? And I'm not putting him in his class. He's got a long way to go to be mentioned in the same breath as this next guy, but Todd Zeile did that. Remember?
Oh, he did for a long time. Very upright, very, very upright stance at the plate, and would fly open. And you know what? Guys made a lot of mistakes and leave it in there.
0-1 on Nick Hundley with 2 outs. 0-2 on Nick Hundley.
I like what Hamill did here too. There's 2 outs. The guy's not going to squeeze. He doesn't have much speed over third base. You're not going to try to push a bunt down. He's up here to swing, knock in a run, go into the windup where you're comfortable. You think back to that last start he had.
In the air down the right field line. Spielborg's not going to be able to get there.
Last start he had, he didn't run into any trouble at all. And then he threw 8 straight balls in a row the first time he went into the stretch position in his last start. Let's get through this inning. Got a 3-0 lead. Let's get into the windup. Couple of outs. A lot of things that are going to happen. You're ahead in the count. Make the pitch.
Here's another 0-2. See you later. Wow, real close. You know what, George? I love that 0-2 pitch as opposed to the one that's 4 feet high and 3 feet outside.
Absolutely, because you may have to lock him up on a pretty good slider now if you want to go away with it.
Like that.
Good curveball. 12-6, put some heat to it. 78 miles an hour.
Hamill gives up the 2-out double to Salazar. No problem. He gets the next man. 3-0 Rockies. Rockies with a 3-0 lead. Troy Tulowitzki, a 3-run home run in the first. Clint Barmes at the 7-hole takes strike one from Clayton Richard. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Mark Stout from Coors Field. And Barmes takes another strike. Clint has been swinging the bat well. We discussed it off the top of the broadcast. He's 7 for his last 10. In fact, he's been on 9 times in his last 13 plate appearances. He's even thrown out a couple of walks lately. This is on the ground to short. Watch Cabrera throw here. Hit him right in the chest. 1 out.
Number 20, Chris
That'll bring up Chris Iannetta. Chris has been working hard, and he'll try to display some of that hard work tonight. He's been watching Yorvi Torrealba do the catching on a night-in, night-out basis. Torrealba's taken off, particularly offensively. Back-to-back 50-plus RBI seasons for Chris. He had 18 home runs last year. He's sitting on 15 right now. Here's the 0-1. 1-1.
One of the most difficult things to do when you set as long as he has, his last start September the 11th, is to really adjust your body, your mind, your hands to a changeup. And Richard's done a nice job. Richard's done a nice job twice in a row. He's throwing that fastball or changeup right on the outer part of the plate.
Jason Hamill awaits his turn. 2-2 on Iannetta. He got a center cut fastball there and fouled it straight back. One of the things the Rockies are trying to turn around here late in the season is their record against left-handed starters. On the season they're at 500, 24-24, but of late 3-7. Things about Chris Iannetta that profiles well for a manager, for a hitting coach, is when you bat him 8th, you're going to get some power, you know that, but he has a great eye. He helps flip a lineup over. Right here, George, he's behind in the count. He earns a free trip, and now you set up your pitcher instead of having him just wail away. Yep. He has a chance to move a runner in scoring position. If there were 2 outs, you get him out of the way for the next inning.
Yeah, a lot of good things come out of what Iannetta does. He walks an awful lot. Unfortunately, right now, because Torrealba's been so hot, it's almost been next to possible to try to get him in the lineup.
That's a pretty good at bat for a guy, as you said, George, that's been sitting since September 11th. The bunt attempt, and Hundley would have had perhaps a shot at going to second had he come up with that on his first stab.
Right off the edge of the glove, this ball spinning forward towards the mound, and Hundley came out from behind. He's got to allow Hamill the right away to get up the line to go get it. What he did, he worked away around him and just didn't hang on to the baseball.
Well, there are only a couple days left for the Rocky Mountain Raffle prize drawing. Entry deadline's Friday. Go to RockyMountainHomeRaffle.com. Sign up for your chance to win $1 million ski home, a Denver loft, or $1 million in cash. Seth Smith trying to make it 4-0. Smith reached on an error by Everett Cabrera in the bottom of the first and trotted home on the 3-run shot by Tulowitzki. Ball, 1 strike on Seth. Somebody has to be giving him updates on his Rebels tonight. Ole Miss playing on national television, 4th ranked in the country. Smith played football and baseball at Ole Miss. George, yelled down to him right now that it's 3-3 late in the second quarter.
I'll let you handle it. I'm not doing it.
You have that booming voice. Go ahead.
I think he's got a few better things right now. He's better 10-2. Maybe the slider that's getting ready to come in on a 1-2 count. Maybe the changeup. Call timeout. Here's a note. Guess what?
And this ball toward left center field, pretty well hit, and it's run down by Tony Gwynn, who is shaded in that direction. So Iannetta left at second base. We'll go to the third. Colorado leading San Diego 3-0. Should pay attention. A win for Jason Hammel tonight, and the Rockies would have 5 pitchers with 10 or more wins. Be the first time since 2005 when Houston and St. Louis turned the trick. First time in Rockies history that 4 starters have had 10+ wins, and the second time to have 4 pitchers do so in a season. In 2000, Estacio Bohannon, Taveras, and Gabe White beat Julian Taveras.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I got to finish this.
Yeah,
Hold on. It's a good idea to run your dishwasher when it's full. This maximizes energy use. Learn more energy tips at responsiblebynature.com.
Well, the biggest difference, 5 starters get and double-digit wins. It's starters. And Julian Taveras only started 12 games that year. Gabe White worked out of the bullpen.
2-0 the count on the 8-hole hitter Tony Gwynn. And Hammel gives up a ground ball. Diving stop. Vargas scrambles to his feet. He's got him. Great play by Clint Vargas. Now you go back. We talked about the home runs and RBIs by second baseman. George, how many second basemen get to this baseball?
Well, not many. That's the thing about it. Look where he's playing. More up to the middle. 1, 2, 3, 5 strides before he dives for the baseball. Smothers it with the glove, but then has the quickness to get to the feet, balance himself, and be able to put this throw very accurately right to Todd Helton and get Tony Gwynn. Gwynn thought he had a single to right. Instead, he's got a right turn to the dugout.
It's huge, and it's one of the reasons that Jim Tracy, as you look again at this play, when Clint Vargas was really scuffling offensively, he didn't take his name out of the lineup because of what he does defensively. This ball's pretty well hit to left. Smith works his way back and retires Clayton Richard. 2 outs.
Well, you can't take him out of the lineup. I mean, you really can't. Defensively, he's one of the better defensive, and I know he's made 13 errors on the season, but he's one of the better defensive second baseman to turn into double play, covering his ground over there, working the bump plays, doing everything. And I'm going to tell you now, Jim Tracy's old school. He's not an offensive-minded guy. He is a defensive. He knows that pitching and defense win baseball games. And that's why he manages the games the way he does. Even when he would not start a ball game, Clint was in defensively in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning of a ball game.
And he always wants to take care of his starting pitcher. I mean, if he's got a sinker baller out there, he doesn't want to put holes in his defense or potential holes in his infield defense.
Basically, 3 of the 5 are sinker ball guys, and particularly Marquis and Cook, who will pitch tomorrow against the Cardinals. Really looking forward to seeing Aaron Cook on the mound tomorrow.
Absolutely. In his return, George, he draws a tough ball.
Well, he does. I mean, it's St. Louis Cardinals, and it's going to be Mr. Carpenter, who's pretty good.
Here's the 1-2 on Cabrera. Struck him out his first time up. It's 2-2 on Everett. So used to watching Khalil Green at shortstop for the Padres the last several years, and it looks like this young man's going to be the Padres shortstop for a while. Hamel with a foot to help, and it's a 1-2-3 third inning for Jason. In fact, he's thrown only 34 pitches so far in 3 innings. Great play by Barnes. And then J-roll before it, right? Rockies leading 3-0, and Dexter Fowler to lead off the bottom of the third inning. Dexter tried to bunt for a hit his first time up and ended up popping it up in the direction of Adrian Gonzalez. Jim Tracy talking to Clint Barmas. Looked like he was talking about defensive positioning.
Yeah, a little bit maybe. I know that the one thing that they have done, this is what Dower has done, is kind of pinch and move up the middle to create a little more on the other side. And it's great to do that, but sometimes you got guys trying to work that side, or if you see a changeup being thrown, cheat over a couple of steps. Curveballs, cheat over a couple of steps. It's not deadlocked, and Hamels has a very good changeup, very good curveball tonight. Hamel does. So you're going to see some balls get pulled.
You've heard me say this before, George. Hamel's curveball reminds me of Taylor Buchholz's curveball.
Well, yeah, it does. Same type of break, but not velocity. I mean, Taylor would run his up to 84 to 86 miles an hour, and Hamel's curveball sits 78 to 81, but it has the same snap to it.
2-0 on Helton, who singled his first time up, and this ball in the air to deep right field. And Venable in front of the wall is going to make the catch. Todd may have gotten that out just toward the end of the bat, a smidgen. 2 outs, and here comes Tulowitzki. Gotta like the results of his first AB.
You better believe it. Fastball up out over the plate by Beltine allowed him to get the good extension with that bat speed. You're going to have some pretty good results.
30 home runs. That is a bunch. He's now driven in 86. Average sitting at 289. He cuts inside 2-0. And Richard will cut that fastball to right-handed hitters. Tulowitzki, the 21st shortstop to hit 30 or more home runs in a season since 1974, and it didn't happen much before that. The last to do it was Hanley Ramirez a year ago, and Jimmy Rollins did it in his MVP season of 2007. This ball is a bullet to right center field. Lynn gets in front of it, and it'll hold Tulowitzki to a single. So Troy is 2 for 2. And that'll bring to the plate Ryan Spilborg. It's time to go outside the box. Well, averages since July 25th. Joe Bauer's had just a ridiculously good year again. Chris Coughlin is a good-looking young player for Florida. Rajay Davis playing for Oakland. And Troy Tulowitzki, all those guys hitting above 350. It's interesting stuff. That's brought to you by Jack in the Box right now. Try the mini Buffalo Ranch chicken sandwiches, 3 mini home-style chicken fillets on toasted mini buns.
You know who's coming to town tomorrow too, don't you? Former Rocky producer Mike Helen and Tom Meade. A couple old buddies from about 20 years that do the Cardinal telecast. Be fun to see some of those guys.
It will be. Not quite as well known, of course, as Matt Holliday, who's coming back to the
Is he a left fielder?
3-0 Colorado. Road ahead, brought to you by E470 and Express Toll, the best way to save time and money. The Cardinals indeed are here beginning tomorrow night. Monday will be an off day, and then the Milwaukee Brewers will be in town Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Rockies magic number 7 to clinch a playoff spot. David Eckstein takes ball 1. Eckstein, a former Cardinal, in fact, a former Cardinal World Series MVP. And Jason Hamill misses outside, 2-0. Hamill's allowed 1 base runner, a 2-out triple in the second to Oscar Salazar.
Pretty interesting for Jason Hamill. Think about this: 66 of his 86 runs he's given up this year starting, all come in the first 3 innings. Tonight, goose eggs. Trouble getting started into the ball game, finishing much stronger.
He's fallen behind Eckstein 3-0. And that's in there for a strike. David went to the University of Florida. He was a walk-on there. His brother Rick both played for the Gators. When he left, he was an All-American, a 2-time academic All-American. Good bunt. Hamill will not have a play.
Well, that just means there's 306 Division I schools that play baseball and numerous Division II and III and junior colleges that have egg on their face. This young man went out and obviously made a great career for him at Florida and went on to World Series MVP in 2006 with the Cardinals. A great story. Good bunt, 3-1 count. Everybody's playing back. See Atkins about 10, 12 feet behind. Nobody out. Get some base runners as he knows the RBI guys are coming right behind him, Gonzalez and Headley.
Adrian Gonzalez at the plate, hit the ball on the ground to short. Now Tulowitzki had the shift on his first time up. The Rockies did. Tulowitzki fielded the ball basically right behind where the second base umpire Ron Kolpa is situated right now. And you'll notice that Tulowitzki is on the left side of the diamond. One ball and one strike. Jason Hamill had a lot of issues at home the first half of the season, but lately he's been very good at Coors Field. In fact, his last 5 starts at Coors Field, 1-1 with a 3.73 ERA, and the strikeout to walk ratio almost 4-1, 24-7. Two and one. First 9 starts this year at Coors Field, he was 1-2 with an ERA of 7.62. In fact, his first 39 innings at Coors Field, Jason gave up 67 hits. That's not far away from 2 hits an inning. That won't work. Here's the 2-1. 2-2. Eckstein with the average lead off first base and swung on and missed. So Hamill strikes out the dangerous Adrian Gonzalez for the first out in the 4th. And that'll bring to the plate Chase Headley. George, how you doing?
Good. High heater, got it out of the way. Strikeout.
Chase Headley hit it on the ground to Barmes his first time up. Hamill runs Eckstein back to the bag. Headley, another one of those Padres that prefers being out on the road. Tough to hit at Petco. He's hitting .211 at Petco this year. .306 out on the road. That's a strike, 0-1. A nice conversation with Chase today. Grew up in Colorado Springs. Mom and Dad still live down there. Went to the University of Pacific his freshman year and then transferred to Tennessee. I don't know how many guys have done that double. UOP to Knoxville. And he liked Knoxville so much, that's where he makes his offseason home. He's given me the pecking order, George, in Tennessee. He said Peyton Manning's up here. He goes, and then Todd just slightly below. You play baseball on Todd Hilton Drive in Knoxville. Broken bat, fly ball to Fowler. Two gone. Eckstein still at first base. Will Venable coming up. Windshield damage. Call Colorado's #1 team, Elite Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000, or visit safelite.com. Venable hit it to Barmes his first time. Will, a home run and a double last night. The double was more punitive from the Rockies standpoint than the home run. The home run was a solo shot. The double came with 2 outs and the bases loaded. And it jumped the score from 2-0 to 5-0. Here's his his work from last night.
Fastball up out over the plate, sent this very deep at Coors Field, and he got up the bases loaded and a line drive into right center field on a ball out over the plate, up in the strike zone.
Nasty hook there. George, you think some guys get it in their head, visiting pitchers, you know what, it's altitude. I've heard you can't throw a curveball. I'm not even going to bother to incorporate it when I get loose in the bullpen.
Well, I think I look back at Schilling, Johnson, guys that would come in at their fastball change most of the time, particularly Schilling. You wouldn't see his breaking ball to the 6th, 7th inning of a ball game.
1-2 runner going, swung on and missed by Venable. Hamill walked Eckstein to lead the inning off, and then he struck out Gonzalez, got a broken bat fly ball and another punch out. Very good work.
Welcome back to Coors Field. Rockies up 3-0 hitting in the bottom of the 4th. Aflac trivia question of the night. Here you go. Aflac. Which brothers hold the record for most home runs in a season in the big leagues? Brothers, think about it. The answer coming up. Let's go back to Drew and George, guys.
Which siblings hold the big league record for most home runs in a season? I know who I'm saying, Mark. 1-1 the count on Garrett Atkins leading off the 4th inning. Garrett popped to second in his initial encounter tonight with Clayton Richard inside. 2-1. And a line drive softly hit to short. That'll bring up Barmes. Barmes rolled to short his first time up. And Barmes rips it foul. .23 home runs, 76 driven in for Barmes, and another soft liner gloved this time by Eckstein.
Well, he's got him popping up. The Colorado Rockies would like to thank the fans for their support with Fan Appreciation Day, October the 1st. All fans at the game will be entered into a drawing for Rockies merchandise and autograph items. Winners will be chosen randomly by seat locations. Purchase your tickets for that ball game. That's October the 1st, Fan Appreciation Day for you at the ballpark.
Chris Iannetta walked his initial at bat. Takes outside, ball 1. Well, if you ever come out early to the ballpark, you want to see a guy who can put on a show. Just short of a Matt Holliday BP show, it's Chris Iannetta. He can hit him a long, long way. And you seen him do it in games too. Played pepper with that concourse out way beyond the left field wall. 3-1 on Chris. Atlanta and Florida are off tonight. The Giants and Cubs are supposed to be playing, and they're not underway just yet because it's out on the West Coast. Rockies 4 games up in the wild card on both Atlanta and San Francisco, 4.5 up on Florida. 3-2, and this ball is hit to right center field pretty well. And it is a ground rule double. Diving attempt by Will Venable. So Iannetta, a 2-out double.
Change up again, and then that was what was interesting. He threw Iannetta a 3-1 change up, came back with another one right behind it, and Iannetta with his 14th double of the season takes it out into right center field. But this change up stayed up in the strike zone. Iannetta stayed right on the pitch, didn't get too quick with his hands or body, didn't get out front, stayed behind and drove the baseball. Counted effort by Venable, just out of his reach as he dove at the last second.
Hey, what, that was a heck of an effort. Jason Hamill looking for his first ribby of the year. Rockies up 3-0 on the Tulowitzki 3-run shot in the first. Having a conversation with Tony Gwynn. You don't realize how big he is until you kind of saddle up next to him. 6'5", Will Venable. How about this from Iannetta this year? That was his 63rd hit of the year. 31 of those hits have been extra base hits. 15 homers, 13 doubles. Chris has thrown a couple of triples out there also. 1-1, 1-2. And again, Chris, at the very least, has flipped the lineup over for the Rockies. He went around. So Richard, with his first strikeout of the ball game, he struck out 8 5 innings in San Diego. That's his first in 4 innings. Rockies up 3-0.
Trivia question was this: which brothers have the record for most home runs in a season in the big leagues? Drew, your guess was Jason Giambi, probably.
No, the DiMaggios.
Well, the DiMaggios had the record until 2002 because Joe and Vince had hit a combined 59 in 1937. People probably don't remember, and you were right. Joe DiMaggio led the American League with 46 home runs that year. Jason Giambi in 2002 on this day with the Yankees hit a couple of home runs, his 39th and 40th. And his brother was playing that year in the National League for the Phillies. He put up 20. Jason ended up with 41. 61 is the record from 2002. Did you guys run into Jeremy Giambi down in Arizona last weekend by chance?
Yes, I did.
Because I said to Jason, what's up with your brother? He said, living in Gilbert, Arizona, living off of me, just hanging out, having a good time. I said, great. Sounds like he's enjoying life. So I figured you guys would have seen him down there.
Jason, funny man, and a guy that's produced a fair number of home runs now in his career. 2 in a Rockies uniform. He's up to 409. Jeremy's in Gilbert, Arizona. And Jason in the offseason is in Las Vegas. 1 and 2 on Oscar Salazar. He tripled to left center field in the second inning. Hamill with 4 strikeouts so far in the game, and that's a line drive thrown by Tulowitzki.
Well, really, the only guy that's hurting in this ball game is that guy right there, Salazar. Thought he was going to do it there too, but a great break by Tulowitzki, a reaction to the ball, and it was hooking away from him. Watch those balls hit, starting to make that curve right about here. And Tulowitzki's got to stretch it out and just does snow cone it. And a little concentration. Hyundai Cam out to catch this baseball. You see Garrett Atkins stretching a little bit with him over there. Uh-oh.
This ball's hit a long way left center field by Nick Hundley. Smith is not going to have a play. That's gone. Nick Hundley with his 8th home run of the year. And it's 3-1. That traveled a long, long way.
That too, and and again, watching Seth Smith, he took off on this baseball, and when he got out to it, you're going to see a bunch of swings here. Where was the pitch? Belt high. Not exactly where they wanted to locate the baseball, on a slider at 85 miles an hour. Told him the truck it didn't clear by much. Looking at this from high home camera position, you can see that Smith kind of took an odd route to the baseball.
1-1 on Gwynn. Glenn Barman stole a hit from him in the 3rd inning. 3-1 the score. Top of 5. Cincinnati beat the Pirates earlier tonight, 4-1. Dodgers and Nationals tied in the 7th inning, 6-6 in D.C. Tough play. Safe. I've seen pop-ups that didn't go as high as that thing came off home plate.
Well, it's really not part of his game, but it can be. He's got tremendous speed. Plus runner. So his ball hit right on top of home plate. He knew to turn it up a notch and try to get there and beat this out. Remember, Barmas made a great play on Tony Gwynn where he dove for the baseball to retire him his first time up.
Clayton Richard. And he bunts it right out in front of the plate. Ionetta thought about second. He'll go to Barnes. Helton ducks out of the way. 2 outs. 2-4 on the sac bunt. And that'll bring up Cabrera. Hamill has handled him twice. Yeah, Hamill has cruised along. These are the big at-bats in a ball game for me, George. You're in the middle innings already. If you lose this battle with Cabrera and he gets a base hit with Gwynn's speed, all of a sudden it's a one-run ball game when you feel like you've been dominated.
Well, he has dominated the first 3 innings of this game, really the first 4 innings of this ball game. They've only given up 3 hits. They only had 1 runner past second. That was the triple by Salazar in the 2nd inning. And just total dominance by Jason Hamill. But now's when you got to make the pitch. You're ahead 0-1. Go back against Cabrera in the 1st inning when you showed him a couple of heaters and then threw a hard breaking ball like that, and he didn't have a shot at it.
That's the pitch he struck him out with.
But 2-strike pitch.
Yeah.
You know, that's on an 0-1 count. A lot of times hitters will recognize that a little bit better, or they're a little more protective and they won't swing at it. Fastball.
Yeah,
Too fast
on the swing.
Well, that's something that should tell you as a pitcher. When a guy's that late on 2 fastballs, why slow the ball down to his back? And that's not a knock on Cabrera. I mean, you're going to have to make a pitch with the fastball. But when guys are constantly late on a fastball, it's obviously telling you he's not picking it up and he's not quick enough to get to 93. So if you slow it down to an 85-mile-an-hour slider, you've slowed it down to his bat speed, and that's when you get hurt.
1-2, and did go off speed with the breaking ball. It stays 1-2. Tony Gwynn is at second. 3-1 Colorado, top of 5 with 2 outs. And he got him with the heat.
Where was it?
Yeah, up and away. Big strikeout of Cabrera with Tony Gwynn at second base. Nick Hundley hit a home run. It's 3-1 Colorado. Rockies up 3-1. Trying to find that American flag that Neil Armstrong placed on the moon. You gotta get more high-powered cameras.
No,
You see it, George?
That's right. Yeah.
Where do you see it?
Stop moving. Right there.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was it. 2-0 on Seth Smith. 5th inning. Rockies looking to add on. Got 3 in the first. Clayton Richard has blanked them since then. Richard figures to be right in the middle of their rotation next year, George. They're going to go real young.
Well, they have to because of the payroll cuts there. They're talking about a payroll, and you know, this is all due to reports in newspapers around $30 to $35 million. You're going to do that. I mean, you're going to have a difficult time putting a veteran type team together. Bud Black, obviously, and will feel the effects of that at that time. But they do have some very good young players to pick from.
Well, you go around their outfield tonight. They control all those guys out there, not making a lot of money. Venables come on. It's their second look at Tony Gwynn.
Cabrera.
Oscar Salazar's done some nice things. He hasn't hurt himself. Eckstein will be back. Cabrera, as you mentioned, George. Ball 4 to Smith. The one wild card in the equation, and I know he wants to stay. Originally he said, you know, he would welcome perhaps a trade because the organization looked like they were going to be down for a while. But Adrian Gonzalez, who's their big star at first base, he really likes what he's seen from these young players. The question is, will the Padres be able to pay him to keep him around, or are they going to move him and try to get young parts?
Well, they could get a lot of young parts for him if they do decide to do that. They could get some really good ones. So I'm going to go back to a move on Clayton Richard. He has a very, very good move. This ball gets by on the way back. But he had a very, very good move over to San Diego. And what he does well when he makes the move to first is he'll look at the plate. He will give you one look, looks at the plate, freezes the leg on top, which holds the runner. You can see Smith's very close. He's able to hold it, which allows when you have speedy guys at home and out on the base pass, it gives you an opportunity to turn that double play. And they turned that by a pretty big margin, only because of Smith not being able to get a very big lead at first.
Second time in as many nights, Dexter Fowler's grounded into a double play, and he's the second toughest guy in the National League to double up to Michael Bourne.
See how much time Eckstein had around the bases because of Smith not being able to get the big lead.
Two 2-0 on Helton, who had a fly ball to the wall and right his last time up. And Todd has himself another knock. Helton is always tinkering with his swing. Felt like he had been swinging uphill the last week or so. That's very smooth. Tonight's legendary performance play brought to you by Cabot Woodstains. Well, he's not in there, but how about the play of Yorvi Torrealba against the Padres this year? 9 ball games, gets 6 RBIs, a couple of doubles included in that. Big hits. Tulowitzki takes a strike. That Richard will handle. So Tulowitzki tried to drag bunt. That didn't work out. And Helton is left at first base. 5 innings in the books, 3-1 Rockies. Nowitzki's had a big night. Didn't like that last decision, though, George. He has a chance, obviously, to hit the ball over the wall. He's done it 30 times. He is locked in. Why bunt for a hit with 2 outs and a runner at first base who's a station-to-station guy in Todd Helton, and the guy behind you, Spielborg's, he's been a quality hitter, but he's not an everyday guy. It's not like Ryan's 10 for his last 15 at the plate.
The only thing I think of ultimate of surprise, everybody's playing on the outfield grass, trying to steal a hit out of the deal. But I would agree, did something similar to that over in San Francisco. Then the next plate appearance, he went deep in left center.
6th inning, 2-run ball game. David Eckstein, 2, 3, and 4 for the Padres against Jason Hammel. Hamel's allowed a run on 4 hits. 2 of the hits haven't left the infield. One was bounced off the plate. The other one was a bunt single by the guy at the plate, Eckstein. Triple to Salazar and the home run off the bat of Nick Hundley. Two balls, 2 strikes on Eckstein.
The thing I like an awful lot about what Jason Hamel's done tonight, 7 ground outs, 5 punch outs. There's only been 3 balls recorded for an out that's been up in the air.
And a leadoff knock for Eckstein.
Much like back in the 4th inning, he led that inning off with a base hit also on a bunt single up the third base line.
Just got an example there, George, for all the young players, why it's so important. There's always somewhere to go in terms of backing up, falling in line. Watch this. It's going to hit the bag and redirect. Watch Garrett Atkins. He's behind Tulowitzki, backing up the throw from Fowler. Otherwise, we're talking about runner at second base, double plays out of order.
Let's start from the beginning. Well, who threw the ball?
Fowler.
Hit your cutoff man.
And this gets away from Chris, and he's not going to have a play.
Now, too far away for him to have a play on that. It's going to be ruled a wild pitch, I'm sure, on a breaking ball. Chris not happy at all. You can see the look on his face. Watch where this ball drops down and behind the home plate area. Everything was shifted perfectly. You just hope that you were able to keep it out in front. The problem is when the ball hits like that, it's going to be moving away from you as a catcher, so it's hard to square it up and bury it out in front of you.
And Gonzalez hits it in the air to deep center field. It's going to stay in the ballpark. Eckstein's going to tag up, and he'll go to third. That wild pitch is huge because now if Headley gets it in play on the ground or certainly in the outfield in the air, the Padres are within a run.
Let's see how Jim Tracy plays this on the left side of the infield, or if he tries to go halfway with him. The only reason I say that, it is a 3-1 ball game. Do you want to get the out? Do you want to cut the guy at the plate? Eckstein with average speed at third base. They're going to play back, play deep, and get the out. About a night in attendance as the Rockies start to go. That as postseason nears, and everybody anticipating that with a 4-game lead, a lot of ball clubs have sent a lot of guys in. There's Jim Fregosi Jr. The glasses on the end of the nose. The Boston Red Sox have 4 people here. The Phillies with 3. The Dodgers with 5 right now. As they all start to come in and watch how you play certain ways on with men on third base and 1 out. Or they're looking to see cutoffs and relays, who goes out deep, who stays short. It's not just about balls and strikes. It's not about particularly when do they bunt. You want to figure that out. Who's the motion guys? Who's the where they're going to put runners in motion and hit and run and do different things that a manager does during the course of a game. And of course, right now, obviously, the Rockies need to win every game they can. So Jim Tracy will not back off of his philosophies of what he's doing. But all those scouts, particularly the Dodgers and the Phillies, those guys have set assignments. One may be just watching everything Jim Tracy does. The other's watching a pitcher, and then when it flip-flops to the defensive side of things, where do they set defensively? How are they playing? Do they move? When do they bring the infield in? Is it in the middle of the game, late in the game, early in the game? What will they do?
Strikeout be huge here, and he gets it on Headley. Hammel with the big hammer knocks out Headley, and that's 6 punch outs. 2 outs. And coming to the plate will be Will Venable.
Yeah, the ability to change speeds off this curveball. He's ran it from 75 miles an hour tonight all the way up to 81 miles an hour. Tremendous tight rotation. Kind of reminds me, the only other guy I've seen with that type of curveball in this ballpark, Pedro Estacio, consistently. He and Sean Chacon both.
Will Venable, ground out and a strikeout.
Why not? Go to the bread and butter pitch that's carried you through this thing. With 2 outs and runners in scoring position, the opposition's hit just .254 against Mr. Hamill.
And Venable
just not getting a good read.
He's not reading it out of the hand.
I'm going to tell you what right now, you know, either Chris Iannetta needs to know this. Obviously he does. Hamill the same thing. You know what? I'm going to spin 4 more breaking balls, and they're all probably going to be in the dirt. Just bury it. You know, this guy hasn't shown anything. This is a wonderful, wonderful block by Iannetta. You couldn't have done that any more fundamentally sound than what Chris did.
You know, it's an old line of baseball, George. If you call it, you better be able to block it. One and two. Didn't get him to go after the fastball. Everybody in the park thinking he's going to go back to the curveball. He did, and a comebacker. Good thing that Hamill's 6'7", because Venable can run, and if that gets over his head, you may be looking at a 3-2 ball game. Great work by 46 again. Series, Clint Barnes is 5 for 9, a home run, 3 ribbies. He swung the bat very well, played great defense in this series. It's presented by the Colorado Association of Mechanical and Plumbing Contractors. To have your next building or service project done right the first time, visit mpccolorado.org. Rockies up 3-1, and Clayton Richard with an off-speed delivery. Strike one on Ryan Spilborghs. A couple of ground outs in the ball game for Spilborghs. So Richard gives up a 3-run home run in the first to Troy Tulowitzki. Since then, the Rockies have not done much. A couple of walks. Richard scattered 3 more hits. Hamill's done a marvelous job twice now in this ball game, the last couple of innings. He's had to get big outs with runners in scoring position. The last inning, 2 big outs in the middle of the Padres order.
Oh, what I like, 4th and 6th inning, lead off base hits and then just shut the water off. And had the faucet ended.
About a guy whose confidence has grown in leaps and bounds since the start of the year. Headley will throw out Spilborghs, 1 out. Fans feed your Rockies fever at Taco Bell when the Rockies score 7 or more runs during any ball game. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Feed your fever with 4 tacos for $1. That's a steal. Garrett Atkins pop out and a line out.
Well, everybody's talked an awful lot about Garrett Atkins and his off year this year. Think about this number. In 08, he had 357 versus left-handers. In his career, he's hit over 300. This year, just 258. Obviously, that has a lot to do with the lack of playing time. Ian Stewart's getting a majority of that at third base.
2-1. Look at the numbers last 3 years: 301, 286, and base hit left center field. Salazar is going to get there and hold Atkins to a single. Garrett's led the Rockies in RBIs 3 of the last 4 years. Obviously, he's not going to lead them in RBIs this year. 1 out, 1 on. Geico quote of the day, the late Bill Veeck. In modern baseball, the winning equation is power plus pitching equals pennant. That's when Bill Veeck started in the game. Wasn't a whole lot of power hitters. Garrett Atkins comes out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mike McCoy will pinch run, and I'm sure you'll see Ian Stewart in the ball game after that defensively. And this is where, for me, George, Jim Tracy is as shrewd a manager as there is in the game, because not just thinking one step ahead, said, okay, you know what, I'm late in the game, I'm going to, with the lead, I'm going to flip Stewart in there defensively. You know he's going to do that, and he's on top of that. But why not do it right here, where you can get a guy with much better speed on base, as opposed to waiting till Atkins comes to the dugout?
Well, that's one way to look at it. And I think, too, as he starts to look down through this ball game, if he gets a chance, and they've got their left-hander, he's due to hit 4th in the next inning. So he's going to go out, right? Hamill's due up 3rd. As good as he's pitched right now, though, if you get in a situation where you make a big blowout, you know what I mean? You just kind of save your spots. That's just one avenue he could take. I don't think he would take that just because of the way Hamill's pitched. But it also gives him that opportunity down at the backside to do some things. I mean, it's one of those things that it's kind of like whenever he starts Eric Young at second base, he knows he's going to go to Barmas in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning, or 8th, 9th inning. Just nothing against Jason Young. This guy's a better defender. So you're going to put him out there. Against, Eric Young. It's just a better defender. And so, I mean, it's just it's called playing the game, playing the odds in your favor to win the ball game. He realizes that Jason Hamill's pitched a heck of a ball game. Yeah, to go out there, and then Garrett Atkins got his base hit.
That catches the inside corner, 2-2 on Barmas. Again, with Richard due up 4th next inning. This could be his final inning of work. 3-1 Rockies ahead. Inside on Barmas, 3-2. Richard, originally an 8th round draft pick to the White Sox. If your windshield has any damage to it, the place to go, Elite Safe Light Auto Glass. Online at safelight.com. The phone number 303-287-5000. And Barmes with a base hit to left. And McCoy, round second, holds there. 2 on for Chris Iannetta.
Slider down and in, but yet it stayed out over the plate. I said down and in, but that ball was out over the plate again. See, that's a good sign for me with Clint Barmes. Last night they pitched him away, but because that ball was breaking into him, he pulled it. But in this series, they've tried to keep the ball away from him, as they did in San Diego, and he's really responded and hit the ball well the other way. So that's good. Barmes starting to get hot.
6 hits in the series. Iannetta, a walk and a double in his return to the lineup. And there's a good changeup. 1-1. Mike McCoy at second, trying to get in that blind spot of the left-hander, Clayton Richard. McCoy stole more than 40 bases in AAA this year. Eckstein's keeping him close, though. 2-1. Pretty much, George, the pattern: slider, cutter into righties, change up away.
Well, that's what a lot of left-handers are going to throw it. I mean, that's what they're going to do. And what he does, he works off to the side to create a little more velocity, but yet cut the fastball. And he runs that four-seamer at 93, 94 miles an hour.
There goes McCoy, double steal. They'll throw behind him, and in safely is Barmes. So Hundley threw behind on the double steal. The Rockies pull it off. 2 in scoring position now for Iannetta.
And don't think that this wasn't called out of the dugout by Jim Tracy with the youngster at second base and McCoy. Fastball up, swung out over the top of it. And you'll see a lot of guys do this. Ted Simmons, who's their bench coach, was one of the first to throw behind the lead runner. Did that in 1979. More opportunity here.
2-2 on Iannetta. Hamels on deck. There's 1 out. Strike 3 on Chris. And Hamel looks over his shoulder. He's going so well. You got to go with what he's done. And Jim Tracy said, "You go hit."
Well, you know, I started to say at the beginning of this, even though he had 2 strikes on Iannetta and only 1 out, load him up and you know, try to flip the double play maybe with Hamel up. But then if you get Hamel out, you got to deal with strike him out. Then you got to deal with the other side of that with Seth Smith. So go ahead and try to punch out, and it worked out for him.
Hamel sacrificing a strikeout. Bouncing ball to Eckstein. Rockies lead 2 in scoring position. We move on to the 7th. 3-1 Rockies. Rockies baseball on FSN is brought to you by your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Take a look at the 5-star safety rated all-wheel drive Hyundai Santa Fe. You get more for less at your Colorado Hyundai dealers. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Dex, take the sport out of finding local information with Dex in print and online at dexknows.com. Rockies up 3-1, top of inning number 7 with George Frazier and Mark Stott. I'm Drew Goodman. Time for tonight's Land Rover Extraordinary Play of the Game. Salazar's last time up, looked what he thought was a base hit to left. Troy Tulowitzki said, A little snow cone job. Nice play by Tulowitzki. Brought to you by Land Rover, designed for the extraordinary. Salazar takes ball 1 from Hamill. Salazar, Hundley, Gwynn, 6 through 8. In the Padres lineup. Again, the Rockies ahead 3-1.
Well, this is a part of the lineup through the course of this year that has harmed Hamill, to be honest with you. They've hit 327 against him, where top of the order he's been able to handle it pretty well.
Here's Ian Stewart for Garrett Atkins at third. Curveball's in there for a strike. George, has he had a yellow hammer or what today?
He does have a yellow hammer. No question about that. The old dewdrop's working pretty good. Thatcher, the left-hander.
There's another one. Block 2 and 2.
Is warming up in their bullpen. Seth Smith, Fowler, and Helton, 2 of the 3 left-handed.
Now the Rockies have Franklin Morales up.
Now his role changed now. This is where he had really excelled as a reliever, working in the 7th inning.
Did a nice job for the most part in the 9th inning also, filling in for Houston Street, who's back in his customary role. And this is fought off, a base hit to right field. I'm telling you, Salazar, George, he finds a way to get the fat part of the bat on the baseball fairly consistently. At least against the Rockies he has.
Yep, done a nice job. He's hit the ball hard. That wasn't hit particularly hard, but the other 2 balls were that he hit. He's going to fight this fastball up in the strike zone. Already got his hands inside the baseball. You know, tight those come inside to get up on top of the ball and drive it. Did a nice job with it. Hamill 8 ground ball outs. That tells you he might get a double play out of this mess. With 6 strikeouts so far in the ball game.
Well, the one guy that's hurt him is at the plate, Hundley. Hit a slider over the wall in left field, deep left field, really left center field. And starts him out with a curveball, ball 1. Padres after the ball game will head to Phoenix. They'll take on the Diamondbacks over the weekend.
Daly, the right-hander, has joined Franklin Morales now in the Rockies bullpen.
Well, the Rockies have their 8th and 9th innings set up. Betancourt, who'd been down for a couple of days with a calf injury, he was available last night. Rockies did find a place for him in that ball game, though. 7 relievers pitched yesterday, 8 out of the bullpen on Tuesday. 15 pitchers. I shouldn't say 8 out of the bullpen, the starter plus 7 more. So 15 pitchers utilized the last 2 days. Tonight it's been just 1. Jason Hamill with a 3-1 7th inning lead. Here's the 1-1 on Hundley. And that's a rocket thrown by Tulowitzki. There's 1 on the first. And Helton had to come off the bat. Troy Tulowitzki, not only a 3-run home run tonight, but he has stolen a couple of hits. None bigger than that play. You're talking about first and second, nobody out.
Yeah, first and second, you don't know if it gets into that gap area with Salazar. He may have first and third, nobody out. That ball was hit extremely hard. Nice valiant effort by Mr. Barmas to try to turn it. Good job by Helton to come off the bag and prevent any more movement on the baseball.
Well, the Rockies have played outstanding defense all year. And if you recall, in 2007, they set an all-time fielding percentage record. Pretty comforting knowing when you're out on the mound that if it's hit somewhere, there's a good chance one of your guys is going to catch it. One out, Gwynn at the plate. Let's take a look at tonight's Mercedes-Benz E-Class attention assist of the game. Ground ball, base hit, right? Nope. Gwynn robbed by Barnes. Tulowitzki, a couple of sparklers tonight. And Clint Barnes throwing one out there as well. That's brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz you must experience, the amazing new E-Class.
Buying a little bit of time. They want to get the left-hander ready to go to come in and face Tony Gwynn Jr., and they did. Franklin Morales, when they got the phone call, Hamill will lead to a pretty nice applause here.
And Jason Hamill continues to work deep into baseball games, and more often than not, when he walks off, his club's either ahead or right there with the opponent. What a job he has done the last couple of months. Rockies up 3-1, one out in the seventh. Jason Hamill has the warm-up jacket on. With the runner at first base, Tony Gwynn is scheduled, the 8-hole hitter, and he's going to see a whole lot of heat from Franklin Morales. First time, George, since September 1st, Franklin working out of the ninth inning. He's called to the bullpen, brought to you by Comcast. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST.
Well, that's where he has to look at it. This is his ninth inning. You see the number of runners he has stranded, 16 of 23. He's been pretty good in that category. The other day got beat up a little bit when he had to enter the game with bases loaded. How about Hamill? Think about this, folks. 16 of 23 since May 24th. The Rockies have won when he's on the mound. 16-7, looking to make it 17. To get that double-digit win, it's up to the bullpen, which has been very, very good. 93-mile-an-hour heater to the corner. That first pitch.
You know, one of the first things that Jim Tracy said after the ball game last night, a 6-3 defeat, he tipped his cap to the bullpen for keeping the Rockies in the ball game and giving them a chance to win. They were down 6-0.
Well, everybody wants to focus on the negative. Everybody wants to talk about Marquis' struggle, the walks, and everything else that went around with Jason Marquis. You know, look at what some of the positives are. Look at what the bullpen has done. Look what it's done in the last 10 days.
Here's the 1-1, and the sweeper is outside. 2-1 on Gwynn. Henry Blanco has come out on deck.
Well, they've got three lefties on the bench: Durango, Rodriguez, and Macias. If Jim Tracy goes to get Morales after he faces the left-hander, well, you know, part of that success rate that you look back at is Matt Daly's down in the bullpen. He's a guy that comes in, keeps the ball down on the strike zone, gets an awful lot of ground ball outs. He's been able to do that an awful lot.
You know, they're limited on their bench right now, George, because Edgar Gonzalez is not available with the shoulder issue. And Kevin Kuzminoff, a calf and a back injury, he's not available. So that leaves the two catchers, Alfonso and Blanco. 3-2. This is the one area with Franklin Morales where he lives on the edge a little bit. In the air to shallow center field. This could be a problem. It will be.
How big a play is that by Troy Tulowitzki now?
Huge.
Well, Apodaca's going out. Now Jim Tracy to talk to Franklin Morales. Fastball that just got blooped off the end of the bat in no man's land. Everybody's playing a little deep. You don't want to have the double over your head. Spilborghs nor Fowler could get there.
Henry Blanco, George, has never hit for big average. Talked a lot about it. He's a catch and throw guy, but he has the ability, if you make a mistake, he can run into one.
Well, you got to keep the fastball down. That's one thing about it with him. You can't allow yourself to let the ball get up into the strike zone with Henry Blanco. Blanco and Morales, they've only met one time, and Blanco walked in that one at bat. Blanco looking for his first base hit as a pinch hitter. He's 0 for 4 in the season. Not many pinch hits when you're the backup catcher, because typically National League only carries 2 catchers on the roster for the regular season.
Good pickup.
On the Hyundai cam, one look at this hard breaking ball as it starts to bite. Iannetta just rides with it. Able to scoop it into the glove. Look at a big move, about 6 to 8 feet behind the plate.
Blanco with the Cubs the last couple of years, 2-0. That's the thing with Franklin. He's not quite a super consistent strike thrower. He ran the count full on Gwynn before Gwynn hit that pop fly base hit. Well, 2 on, 1 out.
The biggest problem young pitchers face is slowing the game back down. When you start to have failure, you start to throw harder. You start to try to throw harder. You start to try to make things happen harder. And you speed the game up. Body-wise, arm-wise, thought process, everything else. And when you're facing a wily veteran, a 37-year-old guy like Henry Blanco, he's going to make you throw a strike. Bimel Daly down in the bullpen.
Well, that's because if he doesn't get him out, you'll go to the right-hander. That misses. He should probably go bring in Daly, I'm guessing, and then Bimel if it gets to Adrian Gonzalez. This is a 2-run ball game because the Rockies got 3 early and nothing since. Everett Cabrera. Really a choice. Do you want Cabrera up righty or lefty here? Jim Tracy, I can see him.
He's thinking,
saying, hey,
yep,
go get him.
Cabrera's hit .245 against left-handers, .269 against right-handers. Struggled in the month of September.
So a bloop single and a walk. And now the bases are loaded. And it's 1-0.
Cabrera on the season 4 for 10 with the bases loaded. He does have a grand slam.
That's 6 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone.
Yeah, both Bob Apodaca, Jim Tracy, both hoping for a strike here.
Not close. 3-0.
Don't try to make him go corner, corner. Get the ball center cut. As a catcher, don't try to move out and have him throw to a target off the plate. It's like Iannetta setting square in the middle, not able to find it's going to walk in a run. You're going to force the hand of Jim Tracy, I would think.
No question. He hasn't thrown the ball over the plate. He went 3-2 on Gwynn, walked Blanco, and walks Cabrera, walks in a run. And what's worse, now you're going to hand the baseball to Matt Daly, who's been outstanding. He's been better than outstanding. But he inherits a bases loaded situation, and you're getting to the thick part of their lineup. So a tough outing for Franklin Morales. 1 out in the 7th. Auto. To find great deals on used cars, visit ColoradoWheelsOnline.com or pick up a magazine at over 200 locations. This thing has turned real sticky. And other adjectives apply. The bases are loaded. At third base, Tony Gwynn. Second base, Henry Blanco. First base, Everett Cabrera. David Eckstein, who's a tough out, is at the plate. Matt Daly on the hill.
A good ground ball pitcher to bring in. 23 of 30 inherited runners have not scored, and typically throwing strikes. He's retired the leadoff man that he faced 65% of the time.
Pop foul out of play. Daly is in for one man, and that's for Eckstein. Beimel's been throwing. He has the great history against Adrian Gonzalez, who's on deck. In a perfect world, you get a ground ball double play here. 3-2 Colorado in the 7th. Boy, that was a changeup. And a beauty. 1-2.
Well, it really was, because you're looking typically for a slider when he's ahead in the count. Look at him roll that thing over and really pronate, drop the arm angle down and put it in a perfect position.
David Eckstein, 4th toughest in the National League to strike out, though the Rockies have struck him out once in each ball game. Here's the 1-2. And it's in the air to plenty deep enough center field. Eckstein comes through. He ties up the game. And what a shame for Jason Hamill. He's going to get another no decision. So Eckstein ties it up. And Jim Tracy now will go to Joe Beimel with Adrian Gonzalez coming up.
Yeah, 2 for 20 in his career versus Joe Beimel. So, I mean, that's why Tracy's making this move with men on first and second.
New ball game, 3-3. November 24th, 8 years ago, Larry Walker goes 4 for 4 with a couple of home runs as the Rockies beat the Padres 15-11. Todd Helton hits his 44th and drives in 4. Juan Pierre has 4 knocks as the Rockies score in all 8 innings at home. Ricky Henderson is 4 for 5 with 3 runs scored for San Diego, leaving him 3 shy of Ty Cobb's record for runs scored. First and second, 2 outs. Ball game now tied at 3. Joe Beimel trying to get the all-star Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez tonight 0 for 3. Beimel has had Gonzalez's number.
Yeah, 2 for 20. Think about that. I mean, another hit was a bloop the other day in San Diego. For whatever reason, he just doesn't pick the ball up. You know, Beimel does a really good job of hiding the baseball coming out of the glove. Decent velocity with good location. You're left-handed, you got a shot. The right-hander Rincon warming up for the Rockies.
4th pitcher of the inning for the Rockies. Hamill got the first out. Morales faced 3, gave up a hit and 2 walks, forcing in a run. Daly got the sac fly, and now Beimel. And this is in the air to left field, shallow, but playable for Smith. Now the Rockies have to recharge the offense. 3-3 stretch time at Coors Field.
For the Coors Light Freeze Cam, we're going to look at Troy Tulowitzki's home run. How about this? Let's watch contact. Oh, frozen. You talk about solid, sweet spot to the on the bat there, and then the eyes following the ball all the way to contact to the baseball. You bet. What a great result that was. Right field home run for Tulowitzki. His 30th of the year, 86 RBIs now. That was your Frostbrewed Coors Light Freeze Cam.
Well, Joe Thatcher's on here in the 7th inning. Seth Smith will lead it off. Carlos Gonzalez still nursing tightness in the lower hamstring on the left leg. Is available to pinch hit. Though if he were to get aboard, you'd probably see a pinch runner also. Here's the 0-1 on Smith, 1-1. 3-3 ball game. Jason Hamill again pitched very well. Franklin Morales struggling with his command coming out of the bullpen. A blue pit and then 2 walks, one forcing in a run. And the Rockies have allowed San Diego to hang around because after the 3-run home run from Tulowitzki, they have not added on. 7 hits apiece.
Wells Fargo customers, make sure you enjoy this great offer by the Colorado Rockies in style. You can come out and watch the ball game on a Wells Fargo. Go 2-for-1 club seats. How about that? Visit wellsfargo.com/Rockies for all the details. Wells Fargo, the official bank of the Colorado Rockies.
Inside 2-2. Thatcher working to Seth Smith. Top of the order for the Rockies in the 7th. Huge gap in right center field. And Smith hanging tough. He's worked it full. And Thatcher, like so many situational lefties, he's as likely to throw the left-on-left slider 3-2 than the fastball. Or as the fastball, I should say. It is the slider, and it's fouled off.
Well, it's all about throwing across the body, the deception of the pitch coming to the left-handers. The arm angle down. How about that 7th inning average? 339, 8 home runs, 30 RBIs.
Good job of battling by Seth Smith.
Well, Chicago, San Francisco finally started. 0-0 in the 2nd. You know what? In watching Tony Gwynn Jr. and the defensive alignment they've made on Seth Smith, you notice there's been 2 balls hit into that left center field gap by Smith tonight and have been caught. And that seems shading that way all of a sudden, not allowing a ball to drop into that gap area. I mean, you can see obviously where Gwynn is, makes the play look pretty easy here. The other night couldn't get to a ball.
Dexter's 0 for 3 tonight. One ball, one strike. Now Franklin came in. He threw 15 pitches. Only 4 were in the strike zone. One and 2. Clayton Richard goes 6 innings, gives up 3 runs, 2 earned, 7 hits, couple of walks, couple of strikeouts. Jason Hamill goes 6 1/3, gives up 2 runs, 6 hits.
Did not
struck
walk
out 6. Did not walk a batter.
A lot of ground ball outs, were 4 fly ball outs.
This could turn out nicely. Fowler's going to have himself an excuse me hit. No reason to apologize, though. 1 out, 1 on. And here comes help
But Todd's the right guy at the plate with Fowler at first base and the ability to steal a base. 27 on the season. Check swing out in front. And, I mean, really, Hundley shoots out of that hole as fast as he can, but he slipped, and when that happened, there was no opportunity whatsoever that you kind of have to get Dexter Fowler running up the baseline. But also by Dexter. But what I'm meaning by Helton at the right guy at the plate, he'll take a pitch. He'll let the ball go by as long as Fowler's on the same page to try to steal a base. Left-hander, though, going to have a tough move to first. Minimize his lead a little bit. Helton 3 for 7 in his career versus Thatcher. Both times, Dexter not getting a good read at all off of Thatcher. Both times he's taken huge strides back to the first base bat. A couple of guys warming up down there. Adams and Russell are both warming up in the bullpen for the Padres.
Strike 3 on top.
They didn't like that very well. I'm going to make that correction. They do have an Adams that pitches for the Padres, and they do have a Russell, but it's Adam Russell warming up, one right-hander. Let's look at this slider. Where was it? Helton thought it was high, and he thought it was outside. Look at the overhead. This is really going to tell the story. I mean, as the ball came across the plate, it seemed to curve to the outer half. Bud Black said, okay, we've seen enough. Runner on, Tulowitzki. I've watched this enough. I'm going to go down and get the right-hander, get him in the ball game.
3-3 ball game. Back in a moment. Rapid rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Adam Russell has allowed righties to hit 304. He's going to face a pretty fair right-handed hitter in Troy Tulowitzki. 3-run home run, single, and he tried to bunt his way on and popped it up.
He's 1 for 1.
And Richard, who was then pitching. 2 outs. The man at first base is Fowler.
1 for 1 in his career versus Russell in this short time that Russell's been in the big leagues. All those throws over to first base, a lot of times, about 95% of the time, it's coming out of the dugout. Slider, hanger, but for a strike on that inside corner at 83. Remember last night, the called third strike by Rob Drake to end the ball game on Tulowitzki on that high slider. Let's take a peek, see where they're going to go with it. See if they're going to give him a fastball to hit. Pinky on that outside corner is the heater.
And that just missed. 1-1.
One slider, one fastball. You see the thumb come up. What he means by that, throw to first. Fastball away if he puts it there. He didn't. Threw it on the inside part, but it was down. If he throws that ball away, it gives Fowler an opportunity, but it also gives the catcher, Hundley, a better chance when the ball's away as far as the exchange. Russell 1.44 on that last throw to the plate. Below average.
1-2 the count on Tulowitzki.
Throw to first again. See Hundley look back into the dugout every time. Ted Simmons, former catchers, calling the calls out of the dugout on what to do. Fastball, take it off the plate.
Chopper to second.
Pretty good pitch right there. It really was. I mean, he put it right where he wanted to. Changed the arm angle, went up on top and sunk it.
We go to the eighth. 3-3 ball game. Rockies 3, Padres 3. Top of the 8th inning. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Mark Stout. Chase Headley, switch hitter from the right side of the plate against Joe Bible. And the off-speed delivery, and Headley fooled. He's 0 for 3 in the ball game. Rafael Betancourt, calves healed up for a very good bullpen yesterday. He's ready to go again. 1 ball, 1 strike. This ball game didn't start out like it was going to be tight. Rockies got 3 in the first against Clayton Richard on a 3-run home run by Troy Tulowitzki, and Jason Hamill was mowing them down. But now, lo and behold, it's 3-3 in the top of the 8th, 2-1. Joe Beimel, the third man out of the bullpen tonight.
That's part of working out of the bullpen. It's a hero or goat situation on a nightly basis. I mean, Jim Tracy's praising the bullpen after last night's game. Obviously tonight, early on, Franklin Morales failed out of the bullpen.
Back up the middle, base hit. So the go-ahead run at first in Headley. Will Venable coming up. Let's check in with Mark Stott with tonight's Great Colorado Payback Sideline Report. Mark.
All right, Drew George, Troy Tulowitzki, an 8-game hitting streak tonight, and he's only committed 7 errors thus far this season, 2 since August. He's been stellar in the field. A couple of weeks back, I had a BP conversation with reliever Alan Embry. He's been in the league forever. I said, Alan, other than Tulowitzki, who's the best shortstop that has played behind you? He started his career with the Indians, and he didn't hesitate, and he said Omar Vizquel. And I said, why Vizquel? And he said, let me tell you. He made a play once where he caught a pop-up backwards. And I said, explain that to me. He said, well, usually, you know, you just kind of have a pop-up, come to short, put your glove up. He turned his whole back around, put his glove up, caught it backwards. Allen went off the hill, said, why? He said, the sun was in my eyes. It was easier for me to catch it that way. As this has laid down this sacrifice. And, George, I was wondering who the best shortstop, somebody of that caliber, was that played behind you in your many years in the big leagues.
Well, you know what? I was fortunate. I had a lot of guys. Gary Templeton in St. Louis, a very talented shortstop with a lot of great speed. And then, of course, Sean Dunston, Larry Boyle with the Chicago Cubs, Bucky Dent. But a guy with the Minnesota Twins, Greg Gagne, was very athletic at short, could really pick it, came over for the Yankees, and was with that club 86, 87. Had a very strong arm like Tulowitzki's. The strongest arm I've ever seen, including Tulowitzki's, was Sean Dunston at shortstop. He was 99 miles an hour on the mound.
Now Joe Beimel will head out. A right-handed hitter, Oscar Salazar, coming up. Here comes Rafael Betancourt into the ball game.
Now pitching for the Rockies, number 63, Rafael Betancourt.
Chase Headley, 1 out. Oscar Salazar coming up to face that man, Rafael Betancourt. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Comcast Digital Home Phone Service. Warm up to unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-COMCAST. You know, Salazar tonight has hit the ball extremely hard. A triple to the gap in left center. A line out to Troy Tulowitzki, in which Tulowitzki lunged to his right, snow-coned one. And then a hard base hit to right. Salazar, with a couple of hits tonight, has jumped his average to 307. So Betancourt trying to keep the Rockies even here in the 8th inning. Padres, George, with all the trades they've made, and the fact that they have a couple of holdovers from early in the year, Heath Bell in the 9th inning, Luke Gregerson really emerges here. They have a talented bullpen.
They have a very talented bullpen, and then once again, that's kind of a staple of Kevin Towers. As the general manager, he's always seems to build that strong bullpen. And remember the years, you always look back at it. Their ERA right now, 3.77, 5th in the National League. But you know, some of the guys they were able to run out of that bullpen and put out, it was a 6th inning game a lot of times.
Here's the 0-1 to Salazar. 1-1. So Betancourt out there for the first time in 5 days. Good pitch. 1-2. Betancourt has retired the first man he's faced in his appearances over 70% of the time. That's a good mark.
Well, it is. Anytime you're up above 70, you're outstanding. 65's above average. Doing it at the first man faced obviously prevent a lot of things at the start of an inning, and for teams to capitalize or build in this situation.
1-2 on Salazar. They set up away and the pitch goes in. 2-2. Salazar coming over from Cleveland. His first 14 appearances in a Rockies uniform, all scoreless.
I'd throw it down too. Sat there all night waiting on a ball and you get it and then you don't catch it.
Hard shot at Barnes. He knocks it down and gets the out at first.
Salazar's hit the ball hard 4 times tonight.
Every ball game, George, he has been a handful at the plate. 2 outs. Nick Hundley coming up. 1 for 3. Had a home run back in the 5th inning. Tonight's Quest high-speed pitch brought to you by Quest high-speed internet. Richard hit 94. Hamill hit 94. Apodaca to visit with Betancourt. That conference is done. Hundley a strikeout, the home run to left center, and fielder's choice ground out. Last inning. Headley led the inning off with a single. Will Venable sacrificed him to second. Rafael Betancourt trying to prevent him from moving any further. Top of the 8th inning. Center field, is it going to stay up for Fowler? Nope. It's going to give San Diego the lead. Nick Hundley comes through and the Padres have a 4-3 lead. The run will be charged to Bible. And now the Rockies face a deficit with just 6 outs to work with on offense.
Fastball on the louder half and down. Not a bad pitch from Betancourt. But Hundley just got extension out a little bit off the end of the bat. That's probably why Fowler couldn't get to the baseball quick enough in center field. It just died before he got there.
Tony Gwynn at the plate.
Well, both ball clubs struggle with runners in scoring position tonight. The Rockies are 1 for 5. San Diego now 1 for 8.
It's funny, you look at matchups the final few weeks of the season. Talk about teams you're playing that are above 500, below 500. Here goes Hundley, and Ionetta's throw is low, and Hundley a surprise swipe of second. And now another runner's out there in scoring position, his 3rd stolen base all year.
Well, I just looked at some times while Betancourt was on the mound. He's been between 165 and 175 in a delivery to the plate. Increase the chances. This ball skipped. Tulowitzki picks. See it coming in now. First thing he's got to do is catch the bit. He's out. I want to go talk to him. Timeout. I'm going out. Yeah, he's out. I want to go talk to Ron Cole. Surprised Tulowitzki didn't argue a little bit.
Nobody argued. And he put his glove between the spikes and the bag. 2-0 on Gwynn.
How about Ionetta picking up that? I love that. Go back and show that again. Here, very quickly try to do this for this next pitch, obviously, but let's look at this right here. See, it looks like Derek got in, and then you did the slow-mo thing. And well, Tulowitzki did say something.
Yeah, he did say something. Did.
You know, a lot of times.
There's a base hit to left field. Here comes Smith. He's not going to have a play. That stolen base is huge. It's 5-3 San Diego. And the point I was making a few moments ago, I didn't get to finish. You look at all these teams, plus 500, minus 500. I'll tell you what, one of the last teams you want to face right now are the San Diego Padres.
Well, just 13 games under 500 because they've played very well in the last month and a half. They really have. I mean, here's Gwynn. Look at that swing. I mean, it's inside out the ball on Betancourt into the outfield. And because it's slicing away and not hit very hard, Smith's not going to have a play at the plate at all.
I'll tell you what, there is a guy at first now who can run.
Yes, he can. 8 stolen bases on the season this year, and he's been on base with 3 base hits tonight, and that's Tony Gwynn Jr.
You know, I give Bud Black a lot of credit there sending Hundley. You had the lead. Worst thing that happens is you go out and play defense with a 4-3 advantage. The best thing that happens is what occurred. You get a stolen base and a knock behind it. Drew Macias facing Rafael Betancourt. As good as the pen was yesterday, keeping the Rockies in the ball game, they've faltered tonight. And one of the things Jim Tracy's thinking about right now, lamenting the lack of offense, George. Whole bunch of bagels on that scoreboard next to the Rockies ever since that 3-run first.
2 of the 8 hits were in that first inning also. So 6 hits against it. Just hadn't had a lot of traffic anyway. One time the Rockies really did have a threat. It was back in the 6th with 1 out. They got a couple of hits and had runners on 2nd and 3rd after the double steal by McCoy and Clint Barnes. Iannetta struck out and Hamill grounded out.
No score, 4th inning in San Francisco. Cubs and Giants. That's Ryan Dempster and Brad Penn, 1 and 2. Got to figure you're going to get Gregerson in the 8th and Bell in the 9th. Well, maybe not Gregerson. Webb's up, George.
Well, maybe Gregerson needed that extra night off again.
There goes Gwynn. And no throw. Iannetta couldn't get it out of his glove.
Ninth time Tony Gwynn Jr. has stolen a base this year. He's been caught 6 times, but a plus runner. Fastball, kind of a perfect pitch to throw with. But as he went up for the exchange, looking down at second, he didn't have a grip of the baseball versus worrying about trying to airmail this thing. And I'd had a frustrated. He slammed that ball in his mitt because he knew he had a shot at it.
Now it is imperative that Betancourt find a way to get Macias. Rockies down 5-3, 4 unanswered runs by the Padres, and a ground ball to second. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockies with work to do on offense. It'll begin with Spilborghs. Beautiful ball game, but he's been gone for a while. Another no decision for Hamill. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Rockies. Ryan Webb is going to handle the 8th inning for Bud Black.
You see the strikeout, 7.1. He does walk people. Has tendency to get wild. 4.5 walks per 9 innings. The other side of this thing, they're one, and I don't want to say trusted, that's a bad word, but one guy that has been in the heat of the battle from the left side of their bullpen. Thatcher is out of the ballgame. He has 2 young kids down there. Ramos, the kid that came in and pitched the inning in the 3rd the other night, did okay. But they don't have another left-hander down in their bullpen with some experience to come in and face, because you're getting ready to run in to Ian Stewart. You got some right-handers in Barmes and Iannetta, but you get a guy on with a double, then you're going to obviously see Giambi's going to pinch hit for somebody. Still have Hop on the bench. Go along with Giambi. 2 long ball threats.
And a ground ball to Cabrera. 1 out.
Wow, he almost threw that thing away.
That'll bring up Ian Stewart for the first time tonight. He came on defensively when the Rockies had a 3-1 lead in the 6th inning. This ball's launched to right center, and it's a one-run game. Back wall of the bullpen. Ian Stewart makes it 5-4. Number 25 for Stewart.
We'll talk all you want to about his average in the 225, 230 range. The one thing that hasn't suffered is the long ball. It also gives him 70 RBIs now on the season. He got a fastball up, and he got it out over the plate. Some of the home runs he hits are the toweringest long drives of anybody in baseball. This one went deep, and it went really deep. He got out of here in a hurry to make this a one-run ball game.
Clint Barmes with 1 out. And a ground ball, hot in the middle, on through, base hit for Barmes.
Second base hit of the night for Clint Barmes.
Iannetta has been called back. It'll be the big man, Jason Giambi, emerging from the dugout, taking his customary swing or two right-handed, and then he'll make his presence felt in the left-hand side of the box.
And you wait for that one spot to use somebody like Giambi to come into the game and make that move. Bud Black's the one walking to the mound right now.
Well, Black has used Thatcher. The other 2 lefties are puppies. Bud knew that he was going to get Giambi either here for Iannetta or in the next spot. Jim Tracy did not want to risk perhaps the double play and then not have Giambi hitting with any traffic at all. Here comes Gregerson. 5-4 San Diego. So there is Giambi, who has had a phenomenal impact on the Rockies at the plate and in the clubhouse. And he will take his turn here, pinch hitting for Chris Iannetta, with 1 out and 1 on in a 1-run game in the 8th.
Yeah, look at
He'll
that
face Luke Gregerson.
21 of 26 have been stranded when he's come into the ball game. Here's the thing, Giambi's going to make you throw a strike. The last 2 home runs he's hit, those over in Arizona, middle half in fastballs and down, and they were scorched. Semi-shift put on for Giambi, wide open on the left side. He's looking to leave the yard and give you a W.
And he takes strike 1, a fastball at 91. Gregerson's had a couple of days off. Lefties hitting 298 against him. Righties just 154. And that's a strike. And a little look back from Giambi at home plate umpire Jerry Meals.
Thought it was down. That's why I gave the look back. You can look at the pitch, not only down, but a big reach back, too. Tried to get some extra. Got a foolish pitch well out of the strike zone. 93. Gonzalez has come out in the on deck circle. Yeah, the area he's trying to avoid. Pick off over to first. Trying to trick play again. He's tried that like 3 or 4 times. We thought the ball got back.
That one may have been legit.
You think? He keeps trying that like I'm going to chase a ball somewhere.
1 and 2 on Giambi.
Off speed, first offering with an off speed out of 4 pitches that he's seen. Everything's been 90 to 93, sinking and moving away from him. That time it was a slider at 84, but very low in the strike zone.
You want to talk about the definition of playing no doubles, George? Look at the outfield for San Diego.
That's exactly what you're trying to do now. You just you can't allow it to happen.
Strike 3 on Giambi.
And one thing you won't see him do is take a call third strike, particularly with the game on the line. He felt this pitch was out. Let's take a look on the side. Was it low? It came across the knees. Look how far the extension of the arm to go out and get it and keep it in the strike zone.
So Carlos Gonzalez.
Look at the overhead on
2
this.
outs.
Did he catch enough of the plate? It's just, you know, blurred by the black, that's for sure.
After the home run earlier this inning by Ian Stewart. Barmes, good speed at first base. Crowd of 37,049 on edge. Rockies need this guy back in the fold, getting 4 or 5 at bats every night. Nursing a little tightness in the hamstring. He's been down the last couple of days. 1 and 2.
Geared very much for a fastball and swung like it was a fastball. Unfortunately, a slider. Committed very early to this pitch. And the pitch appeared to be, you know, belt high out over the plate in front of him, and you can just see it disappear under the bat.
Send Barmes here, George?
Well, why not? I mean, well, see, the only dangerous side of doing that now is if they do throw him out at second base, what do you do with Gonzalez? He's not able to go play. You've just wasted his pinch hit. See, that's the problem because he's hitting for a pitcher. Now, you can obviously rotate double switch, but if he's not ready to go play in the outfield.
No, he can't play defense.
So, I mean, if you do steal and he gets thrown out, you know, you just wasted him at the plate. He's up there to hit it, so he doesn't have to run very hard. Hit one over the wall. Let's break a ball. I think that's the pitch. That's the one thing you got to look for, and I think in this situation, because he swung and missed so poorly on the other sliders. I mean, that's the exact call. 3 fingers dropped. That one a little more elevated in the zone, able to make contact with it. Torrealba with the gear on, getting ready to come in.
He also, to the note you made earlier, George, didn't commit as early. On that slider, he swung over the top. I mean, he was all geared up. He would have swung wherever that pitch was.
Yep. The other slider, too, started on the outer half and broke to the middle of the plate. That ball started in the middle and broke in. Gave him a little better chance for contact.
2 outs, 2-2 count. Barmes at first, he singled. Pop foul out of play.
Second straight slider he hadn't put where he wanted to at all. Just a tick away from making him pay for it, too, is Gonzalez.
Cubs have scored a run against Brad Penny. It's 1-0 Chicago in the 4th inning at AT&T Park. The other 2 teams chasing the Rockies in the wild card, Atlanta and Florida, idle tonight.
The Cubs have played pretty well since Milton Bradley took his vacation.
Generally speaking, you like a hitter's chances, especially a quality hitter, the more darts he sees. Three and 2. Seth Smith on deck. Barmes will be off with the pitch. This helps out, especially if Gonzalez can get a tweener, get one in the gap. 10th pitch of the at-bat coming. Swung on and missed. Gregerson gets him with a slider. The Rockies do inch closer. It's a 1-run ball game because Ian Stewart hit one of the back wall of the Rockies bullpen. Rockies post-game report. Tom Helmer has all the details.
That's right, Drew. We'll talk Who's Your Padre. This is certainly not the Padres team fans are used to earlier in the season. They've been playing great baseball over the past few weeks. We'll talk about Slick Nick. Nick Hundley has been a driving force for this team. And Sledge Hamill. Jason Hamill, a great outing tonight. It'll all be lost in this ball game, no matter how it ends up. He's flown under the radar most of the season, and he's going to fly under the radar again tonight. Won't pick up the win, but a great performance by him. Drew?
Yeah, he has been very, very steady. New battery, Torrealba. Sionetta was pinch hit for. So Yorvik back there. And on the hill, Rockies will have Houston Street. George, you get an idea how important this ball game is. The Rockies with a one-run deficit. They've used Morales, Daly, Beimel, and Betancourt already. So even though you don't generally see your closer when you're down, even in the ninth inning, yes, at home, obviously ahead, but down by a run, Houston Street is out there. Everett Cabrera, David Eckstein, and Adrian Gonzalez do up.
Yeah, top of the order to face Houston Street as he enters the ninth inning. Obviously, this is a huge ball game. Jim Tracy recognizing that and going with the closer.
This is in the air down the left field line, drifting into the seats, out of play. Well, they're all large when you only have a relative handful left. Tonight is game 153. But keep in mind, with the Cardinals in town, and they're resting comfortably at their hotel right now, with the Cardinals in town, a magic number of 1. If San Francisco were to win tonight and the Rockies were to lose, the Cardinals would clinch and the Giants would be just 3 behind in the wild card. And you say, well, the Cardinals will relax. No, they won't, because the Cardinals want home field advantage, as do the Dodgers, throughout the playoffs. Until the World Series, that's already been determined. The American League won the All-Star game. So you're gonna get the best punch from the St. Louis Cardinals, regardless of whether or not the Cubs lose tonight and the Cardinals clinch while they sleep. And also, oh, by the way, you're going to face Carpenter, Wainwright, and Joel Pinheiro. 2-1. What you don't want to see happen, George, naturally, if things do tighten up, you don't want to see a ball club tightening up also.
You can't.
You don't play well when you're tight. 2-2.
Well, everybody starts asking the question, just like when the Rockies were in San Francisco, they lost, everything started. You're still in first place. You know, in the wild card chase. You're still there.
Yeah.
You're still, everybody's still looking up at you, and that's the way you have to go play the game.
But those questions will come.
Sure they will.
It is unavoidable. 2-2 on Cabrera. And he's got one out in the ninth inning. The Rockies will face Heath Bell, who they've had a lot of success against, in the bottom of the ninth, and they'll have the top of the order. Seth Smith, Dexter Fowler, and Todd Helton.
Well, I think you learned something about Cabrera tonight. He walked back in the 7th, but he struck out in the 5th on a heater up and away. And he swung through 2 fastballs there up and away with a strikeout to lead off the ninth.
David Eckstein.
Strike 1, most important pitch, obviously, in baseball, but also in the ninth inning. And when you look at Houston Street, it's a remarkable year, 77% of the time. Well, make it even higher than that, 42 of 54. First pitch batters out. This in the ninth inning, you really prevent, because typically safe situations are 1 or 2 runs.
I got some news for you, George. It looks like it's going to be Gregerson, because Bell not only is not up, he has not gotten up.
It's a pretty good indication it is going to be Gregerson. Then maybe that's why he went to Webb in the 8th instead of Gregerson.
Eckstein gone. He ran to first, but the ball was caught by Torrealba. 2 outs. And the one bit of good news amid this series where the Rockies are behind in the rubber game, George, has been the return of Houston Street, because he's looked like the same guy who departed on September 1st.
Hard slider, good sinker. He said the other night when he entered into the ball game and visiting with him in the locker room the next day, he said, you know, I really wanted to face the left-hander. I understand what, you know, the Skip was thinking about the other night. He came in and then Beimel came on to face him. Right now, Adrian 2 for 21. There's a reason for that, but he said, I need to face that left-hander. I need to see this lefty. And face him and go right at it.
And maybe the reason Bell not up, George, he's pitched in 4 of the last 5 ball games.
You got to give him a night off.
And he's thrown 69 pitches over those 4 ball games. Here's the 0-1 to Adrian Gonzalez. 0-2. Houston Street also said after that ball game, he knew that he was spot on. He could tell by just how he felt in bullpens, simulated game that he threw.
Talked about Bell and his struggles against the Rockies. 4 of 7 in save opportunities, but he's 1 and 2 with a 7.27 earned run average too.
1 and 2.
But if he was able to go as he was last night, he would be the one pitching tonight.
Here's the 1-2.
Well, if Gregerson is able to finish off the ninth, it's not going to be easy because of the Rockies' top half of their order. He has not gotten a save in his major league career.
It's a whole different animal. You've said that many, many times.
No question.
Two. Strike 3. Ooh. Houston Street had made a move toward the dugout. We made a move toward commercial. Look again.
Caught everybody off by surprise. That ball ran right back to where Iannetta wanted it. Is it inside? Well, it is. It's inside by Toriyama by a large margin.
Going back in there again.
Yeah, that time with a slider. The previous pitch was a fastball.
I know one school of thought is, man, a big, strong man, 39 home runs, don't go in there. But he hits a lot of home runs on balls out over the plate the other way. You've seen him do it at Petco Park, which is a monster yard with heavy air.
Well, you punch him out, momentum heading to the dugout, even though you're down 1, top of the order.
He's out. Houston Street comes on and strikes out the side in the ninth. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. The Rockies trail by a run. Seth Smith, Mr. Late Night, will lead it off. Then Dexter Fowler and Todd Hilton. Of the ninth inning for Goodman, George Frazier. Seth Smith will lead it off against Luke Gregerson, and this is uncharted territory for Gregerson.
Hey, looking at what's coming up right now. Smith, Fowler, Helton.
Smith's never seen him. Fowler 1 for 6. So what Todd's done. And the first pitch in there for a strike. This is where Seth Smith has absolutely thrived. Late ball games. Hitting .339, and it's going to go down a little bit. Ground ball to Epstein, 1 out. Giants have scored. It's 1-1 in the 5th inning in San Francisco. Dexter Fowler, and excuse me, hitting the 7th. He's 1 for 4. Headley shortens up at 3rd. Outside.
Well, you have to. You have to honor the bunt of Dexter Fowler, and this is where you kind of take advantage of it. When shortstop playing very deep here. Outfield still pretty deep. They don't want anything over the top of their head. Have a double and have them get to second.
2-0.
Sometimes the guy in the on-deck circle forces you on the mound to start to pinch a little bit and not get to where you need to with your pitches. Todd Helton, they recognize what he's done. Through 2 straight balls, he throws a fastball for a strike here. Starts to try to aim, overdo it a little bit as a pitcher.
Here's the 2-1. Outside, 3-1. Now it's got to be real good for Dexter Fowler.
I'm a little surprised by that. Slider at 84 on a 2-1 count when you're up 1 run. And speed at the plate. This game, if he walks, this game will slow to a crawl because they're going to be picking to first a lot on Dexter.
And that'll be a base hit. And see if Dex tries for 2. He does not. Gwynn came flying up. He was playing very deep naturally. You know, the irony at Coors Field, the biggest outfield in baseball, George, is you play deep to avoid a double. Then you get a guy like Fowler who can double in front of you.
That's exactly right. I mean, slice this ball out into the outfield. Dexter swung a hot bat, filling in for Gonzalez in center field. We'll see how deep that he is playing, but very good wheels in center. He gets after the baseball in a hurry and then gets rid of it in a hurry.
Tulowitzki on deck. Helton 2 for 3 against Gregerson. George, that's a real, it looks like deliberate move to the plate.
About 1-4 to 1-4-5. I'm obviously thinking now. I see Todd's group in center, waiting on Helton to visit with a fastball. 1-5-0 on 1.5 seconds to the plate with that delivery.
Rockies on their bench still have Brad Hop on the left side. Those guys that they utilize obviously on a regular basis. Hop, the starting right fielder. Here's the 2-0. Driven to left field, but playable for Salazar. 2 outs. Troy Tulowitzki, who gave the Rockies a 3-0 first inning lead, will try to tie it up or at least pass the baton.
In the first inning, got a ball away from him. What did he do? He hit the ball out of the ballpark. Tulowitzki, his first hit of the evening, had a single to follow behind that. Got a fastball away at 93. Looking at the defense in the outfield, look where Gwynn is, right back here. This is an indication when he's playing that far over. Get the circle working here, that far over. It tells you as a hitter they're going to try to stay away from you on the inside part of the plate. Tulowitzki, the majority of his hits to center and left, 122 of it. A lot of confidence in that young man when he goes to the plate with that stick in his hand. So Tracy hoping that confidence comes through now with the base hit or one over the fence.
Popped up, playable on the right side. Adrian Gonzalez has it, and the Padres have come to Denver and shocked the Rockies by taking 2 of 3. Tonight it come from behind fashion. They win it 5-4. Luke Gregerson gets his first save. And the Rockies file down the tunnel. It's going to be a long walk up to the clubhouse. There's a possibility they'll wake up tomorrow and the Giants could be within 3 games again in the National League wild card. Tonight's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's. This was the 5th run. Gwynn slicing a base hit to left. And that 5th run scored by the Padres after a surprise stolen base by Nick Hundley turned out to be the difference in the ball game. Bud Black has the Padres playing well. They win it 5-4. Thatcher gets the win. Beimel takes the loss. Again, Gregerson with his first save. A disappointing night at Coors Field. We'll have the postgame report next.